Before we get into this video, I've been having fun with adjusting some coloring for the promotional images for Battlefield 2042. On screen now is a comparison between the original and my own mix. I'll have a link in the description for a Google Drive folder, so you can have both the original versions and mine. I don't own any of these images. Also, YouTube didn't seem to like my last video, so if you're interested as to what my thoughts were on the Battlefield 2042 beta, a link is provided in the top corner of this video and also in the description below. Activision has properly announced the name for their anti-cheat system, which is called Richochet. The anti-cheat is not yet released, and its planned release will be with the new Vanguard integration. This will be a first-party anti-cheat that will work at the kernel level. While the anti-cheat itself will be new and have some unique built-in features, a kernel-level anti-cheat is nothing new, and is used in the easy anti-cheat system as well. One thing to note is that not all anti-cheats work the same way. The same way not all antivirus programs work the same way. Time will tell just how effective this program will be. We do have concerning news that a work-in-progress build of this anti-cheat was already leaked out. With this said, we don't know what version of the anti-cheat it was, and it could have been used for other purposes outside of catching a hacker, such as how taxing the program may be on certain PC builds. One thing to keep in mind is that the system will not be idle. It will be constantly changing and upgrading the different methods and tactics to catch cheaters. So even if it is an early build of the release, those exploits may not exist come time of the release. In the same way, don't expect this to be a cure-all. Just as before, I'm expecting it to work in waves, so anytime there is a new patch for Ricochet and a ban wave occurs, that would most likely be the best time to play. Meanwhile, if it has been a few weeks, we may notice hackers more often. I do expect from Activision that going through all the hoops to create their own anti-cheat specifically for Warzone, that they will constantly manage and maintain this system, and do so at a rate where the change is noticeable. All this said, I'm still not entirely on board with what Warzone will be upon the Vanguard launch and merger, as Vanguard weapons will have 10 attachments to work with, and we may see the Cold War and Modern Warfare weapons become obsolete, more so if they get nerfed again. Weapon balance is not an easy thing to do, and to Raven's credit, they've done a decent job balancing the Cold War weapons, but have done little to make Modern Warfare weapons be more relevant. Some MW weapons are good, like the HDR, the Kar 98K, and even the AMAX can still hit hard, but there's no clear contender against the XM4 or the FARA from Cold War. And in the SMG territory, the MAC-10 and the PSH are dominant most times. It's not to say the Modern Warfare weapons cannot be used or that you won't gain success with them, just that the difference between the two are big enough to give the Cold War weapons an edge most times. Lastly, I'm also skeptical about the new Warzone map itself. We haven't really seen it yet in full, and we don't really know what the layout will be. It does look more open than Verdansk, and we'll have to wait for what the map will bring. It is too early to tell, and I'm still concerned about it. As far as all this goes, I did say I would come back if or when an anti-cheat is established, so I'm already warming myself up, as you can see from the video, and I'll continue to hop in and out until the new release. From there, I'll make my decision if I will actually stay or move on to other things. Speaking of which, the next topic of this video will be Hazard Zone for Battlefield 2042. What we know so far is that it will not be a free-to-play mode, and it is also a smaller mode than I expected. The player count will be 32 players, and the mode will take place in the existing maps. The mode will require players to capture data drives and extract with them. The more you extract, the more in-game currency you get for this specific mode. The currency can then be used to purchase perks and gear for your next attempt. Instead of the game being a battle royale where you have to kill everyone, it is a game of extracting, and only 2 teams can extract from the match. We are still missing a lot of details and don't have a true representation of what a normal round of Hazard Zone will look like. Overall, however, I do like the idea of the game, and I look forward to playing it. I don't expect Hazard Zone to be a slow-paced game. With only 32 players and specific points of interest, there's going to be combat in those areas all the time. We'll just have to see how prominent third-party attacks are and how the game manages the extracts. We know the extracts will be set at random locations. Whether they are entirely random or occur in the same general areas is something we will have to see. The more random it is, the less likely teams will camp the extract for some easy kills, or the opposite occurring and players extracting with nothing as a way to troll and grief the players who are actually playing for objectives. As neat as it will be to extract while other teams are still alive, I do expect there to be a lot of server wipes, with only 1 or 2 teams remaining by the end of the round. It is an interesting take, and it doesn't lean heavily towards, say, an Escape from Tarkov type mode, but it is what I consider to be a AAA version of it. What I mean by that is a AAA game like Battlefield will most likely keep the penalties as low as possible to keep players engaged, instead of losing all or most of your gear like you would in EFT. There will be some sort of penalty other than losing, but it won't be as severe. I could be wrong, and there may be some progression that we don't have full details of yet, but either way, I can't wait for the game to drop and get a better idea of this mode. So that's all I have to say for now. We will see more stuff this week and hopefully get more details before launch. With all that said, we're getting closer and closer to Battlefield, a revamped Warzone, and a Halo Infinite release, and I seriously can't wait to dig into these games. But until then, I am Mr. Rain, and I will see you guys next time.
I'm gonna get out.
Hostile dropping into the area. Watch
Up. Yeah, one more to do that. Good shit. One more to the let's stop, baby.
Yeah.
We were fucking.
Oh, I ain't seen some right here. Fuck. It's a whole fucking thing. It's 3 of them.
Hey, more kids to the left as well.
Throwing stuff.
Daisy, what's happening with you? Appreciate you. What's happening, Musty? Yeah, my birthday is tomorrow.
Holy shit,
Oh, shit.
Hang on. Airstrike target designated.
This is Striker 3-1, good cop.
One of them jumped down here, right here. Oh, good eye, one down.
Steven, hostile fire.
Good.
Oh no, this shit blew up. Oh man.
Moving on with the guy.
Gas inbound.
Oh, there's one guy in the big building too.
Is he on top? Oh, yo, multiple on me. Or I guess, close to me.
Oh, come back, Orange. You're by yourself, bro. Yeah, you're by yourself.
I'm good. Y'all, I have zone, like, free and clear.
Does anyone have any plate? I got a muni.
I need that plate up.
I need to buy more plates.
Same. I have only one plate.
Yeah, there's 2 in here, I think.
Yeah, downstairs.
Oh, he got me.
Through that window.
I'm gonna res. Careful, there's a few downstairs.
One bullet left.
Steven, hostile fire.
I could use some plates if you guys have.
I got an armor box dropping it.
Okay.
Alright,
Yeah, go
please
for it.
drop the armor box. I need plates. Nice.
Alright, hey, good kills, y'all.
2v1, guys. 4v2v1.
Yeah.
Oh, he's There's one on the roof above us, I think.
Yeah, he's weak.
He's dropping in, dropping
Oh,
in.
shoot.
Watch out.
Oh, we got gases moving.
Yeah, we gotta rotate a little bit. Oh, he's right here.
So what was yours and made them pay for it?
Hey, that was a good game. We almost got 40.